then he brought all his lower animalistic natures with him, his masculine ones and his feminine ones, and made those ride his spaceship with him. Therefore, he didn't get overwhelmed by the circumstance and the situation the way everybody else did, and went down into turmoil, into their trials and tribulations and circumstances and situation, aka getting washed up in the flood in the fucking fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. But in the third dimension, that's just everybody's circumstances and situations going down to hell, and motherfucking Noah, he going to the promised motherfucking land. Motherfucker. Now what you need to understand is this: for you don't be overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? Because you is a spirit the same way all these other motherfuckers are. So you are experiencing the same motherfucking paddle boat ride. The same goddamn experience everybody else is. So for the most part, getting overwhelmed, look at it like this. When we get back into the obstacles, right? Now, your motherfucking obstacles can play out in two ways. So it can play out as a situation that happened outside of you, or a situation you presented yourself. Now, the situation that happened outside of you, that's just you on a weak ass paddle boat, and you getting hit by a goddamn cosmic asteroid because you in the wrong goddamn cosmic wave, and your paddle boat ain't sustaining yourself. So in the third dimension, it play out as you being in the wrong place, wrong time, and shit just happens. Now, for the most part, there's when a situation happened to you. Here's when you bring too much tag-alongs onto your boat, and you know your boat is weak as fuck. So you might be attaching certain shapes and forms into your space, so you can't move through your space freely. So you got to move through shit, or wherever you want to go, you got to bring this shit with you in your space. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, it slow your paddle boat down. It plays as a burden. So in the third dimension, this is you having a responsibility, or you aligning yourself with circumstances that you don't necessarily need to align yourself with. Here's what I mean by that, right? It might be a specific person, place, or thing you like to be around, or a location you might like to go, but based upon who you're bringing with you, or what you're bringing with you. You see what I'm saying? It might have its own energy signatures that don't resonate with that space. So just you bringing these things into that space along with your space, the circumstance and the situation still might not play out in your motherfucking favor. Just because your ass got motherfucking shapes and forms with you in the third dimension, aka you got a tag along, aka you might be going somewhere that you cool at, but the motherfucker you bringing with you ain't motherfucking cool. So you ain't cool for the goddamn moment. Goddamn it. So in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, that's when it happens, when you bring the motherfucking burden on you. You bring the motherfucking shit on you. You end up being in a circumstance or a situation where you overwhelm yourself. You present your own obstacle because you brought a shape and form, or you brought something on your motherfucking paddle boat that didn't need to fucking be there. So now your ass can't travel freely through the current. Your ass got a hole in your fucking paddle boat now, so it's shit sinking and shit. And the old motherfucker ass gonna need a motherfucking esoteric lifeguard in this motherfucker before your ass get washed away and drowned. So you need to understand this shit. Now, that's what we talk about obstacles. So that's the two versions of obstacles and shit. You can either be in a certain state of being where you're resonating with a certain space and location to the point that you moved your spirit there in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. So whatever you thought you was, that's what you are in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. So when you moved into that goddamn space, you realized that current was too fucking heavy, and your boat couldn't sustain that shit, whatever spaceship you created, to go in and experience yourself. That's when you go into the wrong place, wrong time type of scenario. And then you got when you bring too much shit with you, bring too many book bags, bring too many suitcases and shit like that. Therefore, your paddle boat's slow as fuck. So not only is it going to get hit by asteroids and washed up in the current, your ass can't flow fluidly anyway because you got too much shit on it. Your ass sitting back thinking like, God damn. Now let's talk about being overwhelmed, since we know what the fuck obstacles is in this motherfucker. So since now we know what the fuck obstacles is, being overwhelmed is one of the reasons. Obstacles is one of the reasons how a person could be overwhelmed. But it comes into many different scenarios, because here's the thing, right? Being overwhelmed means when you got too much goddamn energy signatures pointing towards you. Think of yourself like riding a motherfucking wave. You know what's my motherfucking movie? What's that motherfucking movie? Airborne. Airborne. That's my motherfucking movie right there. You know what I'm saying? The motherfuckers was playing with my homeboy who came from California and shit. Just to live with his cousin for a little bit and shit. You know what I'm saying? Live with his motherfucking cousin, you know, just to chill out for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Niggas fucking with him at school, putting sand in his locker and shit, taking all the toilet paper out of the school while my one boy taking shit and shit, all because of motherfucking female and shit, because he got the girl and shit. Homeboy, the jock of the school getting all mad and shit. But you know, riding the goddamn wave, because he was a homeboy, he was a surfer and shit. You know what I'm saying? Before he was skating and shit. So he was riding the goddamn wave, you know, he was dreaming of puppets, of pippets. I forgot the fucking name. That's my fucking movie, though. Remember they were skating in the flower garden and shit? That's my shit. But look, boom, remind you if he was like riding a wave and shit, right? Now remind yourself like imagine you riding a goddamn wave, right? Now you riding a goddamn wave, right? Now the wave is pretty as fuck, right? It's just pretty, right? But then you got a big ass wave coming towards you now. Big ass wave coming towards you. So now you're not riding no wave. You're not riding it. You got a big ass wave coming towards you now. So what the fuck do you think gonna happen in the third dimension? Now the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, you gonna get washed up by that shit. And you're gonna be like, God damn, what the fuck happened? Surf crashed. You know what I'm saying? Wipeout. Now in the third dimension, what happens is you got too many energy signatures directed towards you. Now you may be around a certain person. Now here's the thing. This is the way I can break it down in the third dimension for y'all. You ever been around a person? Right? That kind of make you kind of feel overwhelmed around them. Now it could go in two ways. You got certain people you could be overwhelmed by that, just their energy. They kind of make you feel like you should do whatever they doing. You do whatever they do and shit like that, whatever like that. Or they make you, or you just agree to do whatever they're doing, or they make you do shit and shit like that. So you got those kind of people that you get washed up and absorbed in they motherfucking energy too, right? Then you got the other people you go around that you feel they vibe, you feel so overwhelmed, they make you feel like you need to detach. You're like, damn, I feel weird about this person or whatever was going on. Shit, I got to get away from this motherfucker. So it's two ways. You got the way that you could get overwhelmed by somebody to the point you get submerged into their current to the point that you're doing whatever they're doing, and then you got those people that you feel like you need to separate from their waters, separate from their current. Now here's what's actually going on, right? These people. Damn, shit keep trying to fall in this motherfucker. I almost had to catch this motherfucker. Goddamn, what the fuck is going on? But look, check this out. When we talk about, like, you ever been around a person, right? Now, check this out. Now, say a person is talking about you behind your back or whatever like that, right? So, this person is creating a light. They're creating an imagination about you, right? So, now this person is the owner of that intellectual property. Now, the moment the people that this person is around start to add their imagination, add their thoughts and feelings and emotions about what you have just created, aka this person could have just put all kind of information on what they just created into this. They could have put you in a bad light, a negative light, you know what I'm saying, all kind of shit. So already they created imagination about you, and now other people see that light, and other stars and moons gonna have a sense of direction on how to angle that light, aka have their feelings and emotions and thoughts and ideas added onto it on the premise of what this person have just created about you in the first place. So now that light start to get bigger, bigger, and bigger. Now it is this machine or this light, this spaceship is not only created by one person, but everybody else this person then put into the lab and help, and everybody else then added their engineering to it also. So for the most part, by this person being the owner of that intellectual property, that energy is always going to be with that person. So the moment this person emit that into the universe, it's going to be able to accumulate and have a snowball effect and be a big ass snowman or woman and play out in certain frequency vibrations into the realm on its own. But for the most part, this person always going to be the representation of that energy signature. And then think about the premise it started on. It started from you. So just think about how much energy influence you're going to be affected by for just the rest of your goddamn life, just by interacting with certain people in your goddamn life. That's what you need to understand also. Detachment is very powerful. The art of deduction is very powerful in this realm of reality. You need to know that everything is flipped upside down here. Even to the point that y'all look at y'all north and south node, which will be another video. But for the most part, let's get into this. Like I said, right? You be around this person, then now, since the person is the owner of that intellectual property, they got all that energy, all that light, all that conscious body with them when they come around you. So when they come around you, now you feeling overwhelmed and shit around this person. You like, goddamn. So now you get this feeling and shit. Don't you get this feeling like, goddamn, why every time I'm around this person, I always feel like something is directed towards me? God damn, is that weird? Every time I'm around this person, something's y'all know y'all had that shit. All my females and homeboys out there. You know what I'm saying? Every time y'all around certain motherfuckers, y'all sit back and be like, damn, every time I'm around, like, motherfuckers, it feel like something is directed towards me. Even if it's something that's indirect as hell. So this is letting you know right now, right? You're in a conscious wave, but you got a motherfucker wave that's directed towards you, right? And it's a big ass wave. So you need to know all those energy signatures and those suns and moons that was added on to that conscious light that this person has created for you. This person is wearing that, and when they come around you, your spirit always know. You need to know your spirit always know. The illusion is the actual person. The illusion is the actual location that y'all at and what y'all want to quote unquote call it. Whether you're at work or whether at home or at a friend house or a relative house or whether this person name is this or they look like this. All that is an illusion. But your spirit always pick up the goddamn energy signature. You need to understand that. That's why you're always going to sense it. You're going to sense it. You're going to realize something. You're going to use your real eye, your first eye, your real eye to be able to see, realize, and see the realization and the real realm of reality, esoteric rise in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. So that's what you need to understand also. So for the most part, you're going to sit back and sense that shit. So the illusion may blind you. The illusion may fuck you up based upon you thinking it has something to do with love or memory or family or friend or connection or experience together. So that might be the whole illusion that may got you wrapped up in separating yourself from understanding it, that goddamn I'm sensing an energy signature that I don't fucking resonate with. But for the most part, as Archangel Uriel, that's what the fuck I'm here for. So I'm here to let y'all motherfuckers know that you catch that sense like, why is something always directed to me? You goddamn right. Because with your little small energy, not only do you got this motherfucker's energy directed towards you, but you got everybody else's energy that this motherfucker then brought this light around and added their energy with it. Now when they come around you, you got this motherfucking energy along with all these motherfucking energies along with it attacking you, aka a cosmic conscious wave attacking your ass esoterically, and your spirit feel that shit like, what the fuck is going on here? So in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, your spirit is getting washed up and getting all bent out of shape to the point that the fuck you start to feel bent out of shape around this person in the third dimension. You start to feel uncomfortable. You start to not resonate with that vibe. You goddamn it right. In the motherfucking 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, your ass is getting bent out of shape. That shape and form your mentality created to be aware of yourself there, that spaceship, that boat is getting bent the fuck out of shape. That current flow, that wave, it hit your ass and redirected your shit. So now you got to redirect what's going on in the 3rd dimension. Reanalyze, should you be around this person? Redirect your actions. Instead of going this way, go that way. Instead of asking this question, ask this question. Instead of allowing this person to come along this way, say you got to do something and you'll fuck with them later. Like a lot of little shit that goes on in the 3rd dimension you got to portray to that in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. That's you, motherfucker, oh shit, cleaning your boat, getting rocks and shit off your boat so your shit can get back clean and shit, so your ass can get back on an even flow. AKA in the 3rd dimension, get back in a goddamn more comfortable state that match your goddamn vibe. You know what I'm saying? This shit ain't motherfucking fake. It's real shit. So you need to understand, when you being overwhelmed, it come into a lot of different ways. You could be around a person, that's the only person you're around. All my females, y'all know, y'all been around y'all friend, and she kind of acting slightly different for a moment, and you kind of feel overwhelmed. You need to goddamn start taking into consideration that she might have been talking up and down about your ass to her goddamn auntie, her mother, or her goddamn friends that you don't be around all the goddamn time. And since y'all had a slight disagreement or something like that, you don't think it had took as much toll on her as it really do, because females are more transparent. They're moons, so they receive a lot. So you may not know that your friend have got that upset about that situation as she did. So you think it's all good because y'all friends, and since y'all friends, like I said, a woman is more transparent. So she's not even expressing the true depth of it because she care about you. So she just want to give it time to get over it, but she don't want to show the true expression. But goddamn it, a woman is gonna give it all. Either she gonna talk to her man, or talk to another friend, or her cousin, or her drunk ass auntie, or some type of shit, and she gonna be the owner of that intellectual property that she created about your ass. And other people gonna start adding their information to that light bulb also, aka start conversating with this chick, and then it get bigger and bigger. Then when she come around you feel all unorganized and shit around her. She got you forgetting your keys and shit like that, and you like, damn, she got you cheating on your man because you around her. She bringing other motherfuckers around, talk about let's go on a double date. You don't even like who the fuck she brought the double date with you, but just you being around her because you resonating with her state and her energy. Off the back, you get in trouble because somebody then took a picture at the club that y'all was at, and then your dude then went on Facebook and seen you in the background, and that picture you wasn't even supposed to. You know what I'm saying? So we'll get into some old kind of shit, and the situation's still fucked up. So you need to understand that's what your friend was creating. She was the owner of that intellectual property, and then that's why you feeling that way around her. So you need to take into consideration, like, hold on, if this bitch was talking about me, yes. You wouldn't feel that way. Your spirit be knowing. I'm telling you, your spirit don't goddamn play. Y'all need to stop lessening y'all goddamn spirit. Y'all spirits don't goddamn play. Your spirit know what it is. You ask your spirit, you want to experience something, it's going to goddamn create the scenario and circumstance for you to experience that shit. Now, as far as in the third dimension and as far as the illusion, you may not like what your spirit creates sometimes, though. Based upon what you think is love, what you think is analyzing, what you think is wisdom, what you think is you attached to, what you think how close you are to this person, place, or thing. A lot of these things and how close, a lot of these things come to you, you may not be able to see. You may not be able to see what your spirit just did for you. You know what I'm saying? What can appear to be the worst situation in your life, third dimensional wise, could be the best situation could ever happen, fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional wise. And if your ass is spiritually inclined enough to feel good enough to understand and overstand and just go ahead and experience that shit, you'll actually see the promised land. But a lot of y'all want to stay in Dalmatian and get scared to move forward. So even though your boat is sinking, you don't know that it's another boat out there, so you rather stay into that Titanic and just let the whole shit sink. Because you attached to that whole music and those orchestra and those bands and how they was playing music and shit before everybody fucking died. Sad. We ain't got that shit to be going on. Not right now. We need to get the fuck out of this being named I in this fucking constellation, the light bearer, with this fucking spiritual flying in it, the spirit flying in the name fucking Lucifer. We need to get out this fucking being. For real. You see what I'm saying? And we need to go create another spaceship, create another body, create another existence, create another ship, and go into that motherfucking shit. And stop getting attacked by this motherfucker and threatening y'all when y'all not going along with his ideas and creativity. He even let y'all know it's him. And he and shit. Y'all not understanding that y'all fucking worshiping days and shit like that. Like, we can go motherfucking deep, talk about holidays. Holidays, that's a holy, the worship of a holy star, a dead star. This is why when celebrities die, right, people, and the more popular the celebrity was, people want to start to make a holiday out of them. A holiday, a holy day. A day is a star, a masculine or a sun. Or they want to call it a sun name, but it's really a sun. And you need to know it's just the masculine shape and form you have created for yourself, to be aware of yourself within the realm of reality. So all males and females have suns. So when you hear the son of God, you have a sun, your sun sign. Everybody had a fucking sun. So you had a day. You had a day, an imagination, an illumination, a light, an enlightenment. So motherfucker, on the first day, y'all see the sun. Y'all worship sun, the closest star. That's the first day, Sunday. Then the second day, y'all worship the moon. That's Monday. Then y'all worship Mars. That's Tuesday. Then y'all worship Mercury. That's Wednesday. Those are days. The imagination and the energy signature and the fluid influence that y'all currently going through as far as the current sea and the seas that y'all see to realize what the fuck life that y'all experiencing and floating at. You know what I'm saying? Thursday, Jupiter. Y'all worship that day. You know what I'm saying? That star. You know what I'm saying? Friday, Venus, the morning star. And that's the morning star before the last star, which is Saturn. The Sabbath day, you know what I'm saying? That's Saturn. And y'all worship that. That's the day the Sabbath rep. But what y'all not understanding, everything is in reverse. So what y'all think was first in the third dimension was actually last in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. This is why when you're born first in your family as siblings, right? You're born first, you end up being the oldest out of your siblings. So whoever was born after you, right? They are younger than you and you are the older. So this let you know that the kind of the differentiation. So for the most part, this is giving you an understanding that since Saturn is the last day in the third dimension, it must have been the actual first day in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. So what you need to understand is third dimensional wise, the first solar plexus that Lucifer, or God, or this being that y'all call God, created, the spirit created for itself to be aware of itself, the first shape and form was actually Saturn. So this is letting you know third dimensional wise, as you being a lesser blood cell following the spirit here, being a lesser spirit and taking on a lesser fleshly fluid, aka a spirit coming here and then going into a blood cell to be aware of yourself into the masculine world and to worship the masculine and worship the one-dimensional world. What's actually going on here is the first is telling you that one of the first stars, the first closest star was Saturn. Then once Saturn had a position in a space and was a deity, aka had a space represented and can maintain a space and location within density, within this dimension. And that's what deists get their theology from, which is a God that have created the world but don't have no actual spiritual influence on it. See, a lot of y'all be lost in a lot of theological ways that y'all not understanding, but that's another video. But for the most part, when you got Saturn right? Now Saturn was here first, was the first solar plexus that it created to be aware of itself first. Then it have spread it out, and then another one claimed king, another one claimed position, another one claimed authority, and that's where you start to get motherfucking Jupiter, and then that spread out the line. Then you got Mars, that spread out the line. Then you got Venus, that spread out the line. Then you got you know what I'm saying, Earth, that spread out the line. Then you got fucking Mercury. All these are different platforms, though. That's what you need to know. This current is current stars. So when I say Earth, I'm not talking about what y'all want to quote unquote Earth and the surface that y'all walking on. This is a whole different type of ball game I'm talking about right now. You see what I'm saying? Then Mercury came, spent off, and then y'all got the last day, 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, what was the last motherfucker, which y'all want to call Jesus. This is the last fucking flesh and blood cell, whatever, ascending motherfucker that came down, whatever like that. But look, check this out. That motherfucker, that was the last motherfucker, 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional wise. But since y'all was born after that motherfucker and followed that motherfucker to create lesser shapes and forms as spirits to go into, and the sun is a greater shape and form, and it's a spirit within that. What's going on here is this will be first to y'all. So this is y'all new coming, y'all new birth, y'all new shit, y'all new transformations, y'all new bodies, y'all new fleshly fluids, y'all new alignment, y'all new transits that make this 5-point star that you are right now. You know what I'm saying? That's all that shit. That's all that shit really is. So for the most part, that's why y'all worship that shit. So that's y'all first day here in the 3rd dimension, but that's really the last motherfucker came after the fact in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. So for the most part, that's why this is the closest sun here. Now, after this next 100 years, because this being is like 17 years old. You know, if creationists want to say this being, which is Lucifer, the light bearer constellation, which is not the only one, this is not the only spirit to start creating shapes and forms to be aware of itself. 6,000 years old. For the most part, this is what you need to know. 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional wise, right? A being, one day to that being will be a year to you. So look at it like this, right? A day to you is a whole year for your cell life, a whole year, right? So if this being is 6,000 years old, right, then you could kind of, what you need to do is calculate your age, right? What you I should make a whole separate video of this, right? But it's 365 days in a year. So times 365 with however old you is. And that's going to let you know how old you are compared to your cell life. So if we are the blood cells within this being, and this being say around 6,000 years old, for the most part, a year to us is 1 day to the being that we are in. So if this being is 6,000 years old, then you say 365 times, it'll probably come somewhere if you want to get to 2,000 or something like that. This being is probably around 17 years old. You know what I'm saying? 17 years old. Now, you think that's young in the 3rd dimension, right? You think that's young in the 3rd dimension. So if this being, for an example, if it's 6,000 years old compared to us, that means this being have lived in this life, in this existence, in this realm of reality, 6,000 days. So 6,000 days will be almost a person who's 17 going on 18 years old. So for the most part, in the 3rd dimension, that's like a young person, a rebellious person, a person getting ready to be an adult, separate from his parents. But you need to know 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional wise, numbers are not additional type of circumstances. They are actual frequency vibrations. So in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, if a being is 17, how y'all look at it, for the most part, in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, this is the 1 and a 7 coming together, which creates 8, which is a galactic being. You need to know it's a galactic being. So what we're talking about right here, this is a being who have created a bunch of shapes and forms to be aware of itself into a space and location that doesn't have many shapes and forms there previously. And depending on, I don't know how many shapes and forms, I don't know how many spirits have risen to that level to create shapes and forms there yet. But all I know is this being is risen to a galactic level. So when you want to talk about this being, if you stay within this being universe, this being is getting ready to get shot out, aka 9th dimensional wise, into that world. So I guess as when you look at it, this being was has once came from the 0 dimension as a spirit, created a shape and form in the 1 dimension, and went into the 2nd dimension, came out in the 3rd dimension, then died here, and then ascended to the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. Went through the same process. So once you create a shape and form and get birthed out in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, you do the same thing you're doing there that you're doing here. So when I say we're developing spaceships to get out of here to be birthed in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension and not to come back into Sheol, what that actually mean is You actually creating a spaceship to be aware of yourself in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. So once you are a fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional being, then you do that process the same way you did it here. So now you will be trying to create a spaceship in the seventh, eighth, and ninth dimension where there are no shapes and forms there yet. So you're trying to create a shape or form to get into that space, to be aware of yourself, to be aware of yourself in that space, aka get born. So for the most part, in the fourth dimension, this is the more you utilize your intellect and analyzing and conceptualizing, that's you creating a spaceship. Then the more you understand your vibrational state behind it and your emotional stability stance behind it, you're able to utilize your fifth dimensional vehicle. So therefore, the fourth dimension is masculine, the fifth dimension is feminine, and then once you bring these two natures together, you get to create a physical form. Therefore, that means you have reached two A's: your father mind state, and then your mother A, and then now you have get birthed out third dimensional wise in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, which is a sixth dimensional being. You know what I'm saying? Then once you do that, now you're trying to develop yourself in the seventh and eighth and ninth dimension. So Lucifer, since he's since he's 17, that's 1 and an 8. So that's eighth dimensional being at the moment. So that means that he's in the process of getting birthed out third dimensional wise, but he is not there yet. He's in the process of reaching an 8 amongst the gods of beings that he's around right now, as far as being the light bearer constellation, Lucifer. And then the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, they're amongst everybody the way you amongst everybody here and amongst your species trying to reach the goddamn 8. So for the most part, Lucifer is trying to get popular or whatever like that, and he's trying to combine his masculine and feminine natures, aka his seventh dimension and his eighth dimensional vehicles. So he's understanding how to become a solar system and not just a single cell organism like a star, like a sun. He's trying to become a solar system, which is seventh dimensional, a shape and form of where the actual Elohim came from as just space and spirits. And then that's the masculine side. He's creating the overall idea and concept of something, right? And the high idea and the thought and the masculine and pushing out of something. And then he's eighth dimensional right now. He's working on his feminine side. He's developing the emotions and the feelings around it. So anytime somebody gain a comfortable emotion and feeling about the chaotic thoughts and emotions that's going on masculine wise, that's Lucifer energy right there trying to console everything and justify everything in order to blend these two natures so he could become a third or sixth dimensional being, aka a ninth dimensional being, a physical shape or form in that realm of reality, wherever whatever's in that realm of reality. So you know what I'm saying, that's just another video right there. I didn't even mean to get into that, you know what I'm saying, that should have been separate, but you know what I'm saying, I was doing so many other shit and so many NATO readings today. I just feel good to be able to do a video right now. Flight boss bitch, goddamn air.